Welcome to P&G's Dog Training Tips, a podcast providing advice and support to pet dog owners and dog training enthusiasts. Hosted by dog trainers Paula Stone and Georgia Selby, and featuring special guest trainers from far and wide. Don't forget to subscribe to make sure you never miss an episode. We hope you enjoy the show. Hello everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to P&G Dog Training Tips. It's been ages. We have been busy. Georgia's not on mute. She's just waiting her turn, bless her. She's not used to that. We have been busy doing lots of stuff, and we've decided that this time we're going to do a Christmas special video podcast. So bear with us because we've not done this before, but we're going to do our best to give you some Christmas tips for your dog, and we're going to update you on some stuff that we've been doing, and then we're going to give you some future plans. So without further ado, over to you, Georgia Selby.
Hello everyone. Hello P&G community. I know you've been thinking, where have we been? We are now back. We had a few technical issues and obviously busy with other things came in, but we are back now and ready to rock again. I hope you're all well. So yeah, go for it, Paula.
Well, I was going to ask you, because actually we've seen each other once, really, haven't we? Since maybe twice actually, since the whole lockdown thing.
Absolutely.
And although we're always on that phone, aren't we? It'd be nice if you could it'd be nice if you could share with everyone else a little bit about what you've been up to, because we haven't done a podcast for time.
No, God, we haven't. I mean, with lockdown and everything happening, because we were trying to do one, weren't we? And lockdown happened, work happened. So, God, I can't think. When was the last episode we did? I think it was about a year or so ago, wasn't it? A bit more, maybe. Yeah. So, what have I been up to? Okay. Busy with work. Obviously, we had lockdown. That was quite a struggle, but I came up with a game, Gambling Gun Dogs. That was fun. We had a lot of fun with that. It was an online game that we played, so that kept me busy through lockdown. Obviously, then through the summers when we were reopened, I was running classes and one-to-ones. Then also having a busy season last season until we again got locked down. And what I mean by season is working my dogs on shoots. And then back we came out of lockdown again, loads of one-to-ones and loads of classes. I've also got an online community now, which is North and South Gun Dogs. So that is for those who can't make me all the time, because I have a few people traveling up and down around the country to me and they can't always make me. So they have my online community. And I've just started hosting workshops. Other trainers have invited me to host gun dog workshops. And I've got just also doing training walks have just started, which is great fun, different locations, challenging the dogs. And I've got a load of other workshops coming up next year and a training holiday. So yeah, I've been really quite busy, and obviously we'll share the other news. I've got another dog, but we want to do that together. I've got another little puppy that's coming on, which is exciting. So yeah, which I'll talk about in a minute. Yeah, Paula, it's been really busy, and it's been good though, and it's been nice to be back with everybody and all the clients and stuff, and getting out there and working everybody's dogs. So absolutely fantastic. So and we've seen you, which was we had a great afternoon that day. That was really nice because I haven't seen you so long. It was quite emotional actually, really, seeing you, because I missed you, because you are my bestie. So yeah, so really good. So Paula, what have you been up to?
Well, I'm just going to pick up on a couple of things you said then, because you talked about how we were locked down, and we totally were, which was devastating for people like me and you that love to help owners. But I don't think clients always realise that even though we were locked down, we were working our backsides off to try and make sure there was something for people. I mean, that game you invented was awesome. A lovely client of mine, Sophie and John, they lent me their dog Pepper because I'd just lost my old dog Miko, and Lenny is now 16. So I borrowed Pepper the Springador, and I worked her through that game, and it was mint. It was really good fun. So that was a good thing to do. But
you did
also,
awesome as well.
Oh, do you know, it's a real challenge working someone else's dog when you can only see them 3 times a week and you can't
Absolutely.
practice. I was blessed to have such a wonderful little dog to work.
Loved it.
But also, I was going to say, picking up on that, you know, I mean, I was like you, how busy it got when everything opened up and people just went for it. What I would say is, and I wanted to slide this in somewhere, especially with the impending doom we seem to feel hanging over us at the moment, just say to clients, don't wait. Don't wait until everything reopens, because your dog might be one and you've had a year of problems. And that is very, you know, we have to manage expectations there and say to people, this has been going on for a year.
Yeah.
So what I will say is, although virtual learning, video content, stuff like that might not be what people's first choice would be, don't not do anything, because if you do nothing, you've got problems, and we can help you as much as we can in the circumstances given. And actually, you particularly, Georgia, you're very inventive, aren't you, at finding ways to engage people. And I'm kind of, you're the crest of the wave, and I'm floating around behind it because I'm a bit older and I'm still learning the technology.
Not being daft.
Well, you know, technology's not my favourite thing, but I am coming on in leaps and bounds with that. And so one thing that we've been doing, especially over the last year, the first thing we did when it all locked down, I still had lovely Miko at the time, and I have Lenny still. So we decided that we would throw ourselves into creating video. And I think we did 65 videos in about 8 weeks.
Yes.
The course was shattered. So we've developed these virtual courses. But in addition to that, what that now means is whoever does a course with me now, when they go home and their mind's boggled because I've been yakking at them for an hour, they can ask me for the handout, and I'll send them a handout with all the videos in it so they can go over it with their families. So that's something I was working on. Another major event, I mean, apart from losing dear Miko, I left it a little while, but it's quite hard being a trainer, training puppies and having an old retired dog and not being able to do, because that's what we love doing, isn't it? We get better by doing, and we like sharing the stuff we do with our clients. So after much deliberation with my partner, he said, just do it, Paula, just get a puppy. So I won't say it wasn't without reservation, because A, I didn't want to give someone a load of money for a puppy, and B, I had my Lenny to think of. But of course, everything aligned correctly, and I was very lucky to meet a lovely woman called Anna Pennell, who happened to be breeding her working collie. And it just turns out I've got a load of sheep now. So it seemed like that was the right thing to do. So we now have, we got Aria at 8 weeks old, and she's a working line collie. Her drive is awesome, and I've been absolutely thrilled, enjoying the process of training her. I train her every day for little bits and watching her grow, and she's now 8 months. So although I've been working, I've done the one-to-ones, and my groups are busy. I've got a lot of groups on. I've been making sure that my work puppy balance is right. And I think that's kind of all it is now, work puppy balance. So Aria comes to work with me. She does all sorts of things, but we'll talk more about that later. So that's pretty much, it's been about ponies, it's been about sheep, it's been about videos and classes in between. And
people are going to think, what does she mean by ponies and sheep?
Yeah, so we've got a little bit of land. So it's a great thing to have when you're locked down, because although it's very isolating when you're a sociable person, I've indulged the dream of being with the animals. So on, you know, where a door closes over there, another one opens, and that's kind of how I've seen it. Yeah, so that's a little bit about what. Oh yeah, and I bought a house. That thing happened too.
Yeah, loads of big things.
Bought a house as well, just slid that one in there. So and obviously I'm still doing my degree, which it's a foundation degree, and I am almost at the finish line. So I've just got another module in and I've got 2 more to do. So hurry up and do it, for goodness sake.
We need to celebrate. We do need to celebrate that.
Oh, I tell you what, even when the 10th module went in, I celebrated that.
Woo!
That was a tough one. So yeah, that's kind of me at the moment, with a little bit of tractor driving in between gaps. So yeah, that's
Who
all.
are? She's off.
I know, and watch out, everyone. It's not. Don't worry, I'm not on the road.
No, God help you if she is. God.
We thought, didn't we, when we had a pre-chat, that it would be a good idea to think about what time of year it is and give people, because it's P&G dog training tips, we ought to really stop talking about ourselves and give people some training tips. So
Absolutely.
Christmas is looming, and that's a tricky time of year, isn't it? It's lovely because we've got more time to be with our dogs, but it also poses lots of hazards. So I don't know, Georgia, I've talked for a bit. Do you want to talk a little bit about a couple of the hazards you think dogs might face at Christmas and how we can go about minimising the risk?
Of course I can. So it's a busy time of year. Things are changing. Already now the dogs will be noticing change. We'll be putting up decorations. We'll be putting up Christmas trees. These are things that we have to be. Let's start with that. Shall we say like decorations? Okay, so if we have young dogs, especially and puppies, we have to be aware that they might want to bite things, chew things, play with things because they're bright, they're glittery, especially things like your baubles, dangly things. So you have to be aware and you have to set your dog up for success in situations like this. So you have to place these items, especially like we said with puppies, and especially if they're in teething stage or anything, they're going to look at them and go, oh, that looks quite chewable. Okay. So you need to probably manage the areas or have something around the Christmas tree while the dog is learning to settle with it and learn to leave it, and make better choices of not going towards it. I mean, for me personally, if I had a puppy and I wanted the puppy in the living room, for instance, I probably would put something small barrier around it so that they couldn't access the tree. Obviously, I'm not talking a 6-foot tree barrier, because then you've just got a tree in a barrier, but something that keeps the tree safe, keeps the puppy safe, because at the end of the day, these are a lot of glittery things. You don't know what's on them and you don't want them indigesting them. So, and also when you do put the tree up, that's another thing, even putting the tree up and decorations, give your puppy or older dog an alternative to do, because they'll be interested. You'll be getting things out. They'll want to go, oh, I might pick that up, I might carry that. So for me, it might be a case of I would have them in a separate area, whether they're in a pen as a puppy or a baby, get another room, and I'd say, right, here's something to chew on. You focus on that. I can get on with the decorations quietly, and then we're not having a battle or there's no other problems happening for the dog. These are little details, but they're so important, and it's stress-free. That's what, and let's face it, at Christmas, there's a hell of a lot of stress it is.
And so, actually, that's the conversation we had in class this morning, because I've had the final puppy class before Christmas today, and I was talking to a lovely handler. If she listens to this, she'll know exactly who she is. And she was talking about the need for the dog to leave her alone when she's cooking. You know, so she's busy cooking, the cooker's on, there's stuff going on like that, dog's doing. So before you know it, it's like, and the dog had got a wooden spoon and actually eating. That's hazardous. That's potentially life-threatening. So I think the minute you actually animate yourself and go, oh, you've just upped its value. Yeah. That's the first thing. The dog thinks, oh, brilliant. And the second thing they think is game on, I'm off with it. Yeah. But the third thing, which is more dangerous, is they might start to guard it because they think you're going to take it off them. So
absolutely.
I think I said to her this morning, you know, you're a parent. You've got kids, you've raised kids. If you were getting things that are potentially hazardous or dangerous to their health out, would you leave the kid roaming around? You wouldn't. You'd make it bored. And so I can't turn my camera around at the moment because there's some sort of carnage going on behind you. But that's because I've got a guinea pig run that goes along one side of the room, because I can't wholly trust Aria not to chew cables yet.
Exactly.
So that would be an ace thing to put round a tree. You could put a guinea pig run. The outside ones, they're really cheap. They're £20 on lots of online retailers, which we won't mention. So something like that's quite a good thing. The other thing to consider, I think, is electrics.
Yes.
We don't
Yeah.
think about electrics enough. I do know someone who, in like the 80s, their boxer chewed through an electric cable with the flashing lights on, and it flew across the room. You know, you don't want the boxer was okay, by the way. You
That's
don't want
good.
like that going on. Yeah, so electrics are another thing.
Yeah, and also it depends as well on the size of the dog. If you have larger breeds, maybe consider going, you know, do I have it raised up somewhere so it's higher up so the dog can't get it? You know, do I need, I mean, I know people might not like me for this, but do you need that bigger tree this year? Just if it's in a puppy stage and it's a larger dog, you know, maybe it's like, you know what, we've got a puppy at the moment, maybe a smaller one that's safe, up and away, or in a room that you don't use so much. That's another one you could consider.
And I think on those lines, it's really important to, and I sometimes we as trainers miss this statement. It's like, yo, this is not forever.
Yes, that's
this is
it.
just this year.
Yeah.
But last year I had a tiny tree. This year my tree it's not in here yet. We don't do it till next weekend. But it's only
I don't need to this year. Yeah.
3 foot high. My tree is 3 foot high, and there's no way it won't be on a high table. It's
Absolutely.
Table, and that's that. And it, you know, in the future we'll probably have a big tree and all of the trimmings and all of that. But I don't have unrealistic expectations of Aria not to want to play with it. I mean, I was telling you before we started this, my hat here, when I came to put it on, I was like, oh, thanks. You know, just because this is new and novel, Aria's been playing with it. So I might look like I look quite smart, but actually this hat's covered in dog dribble. Because it was really wet because she's been throwing it around and playing with it.
Don't worry, my little pup did the same. He went, oh, it fell off my head. I was filming something, and he went, oh, and I went, thank you. Good, thank God, I've got a nice retrieve. I was like, thank you very much.
Yeah, so that's really important. And thinking about food, Georgia, we need to, you know, Christmas is a time when we overindulge, but also there's things under the tree. What advice would you give people about that?
Well, it's things like, well, that's one of the first common ones, chocolate. We all have chocolate. We all indulge with things like this. And you have to think, just put that in a place that's an area that the dog can't access. Because at the end of the day, we all know chocolate's poisonous to dogs.
Yeah.
So, and it's also things like nuts and stuff like that. You know, these are things that we have to think raised up and away and in areas that they can't access. And when we come to like cook food and stuff, you have to think on that day when you're going to be busy and stuff again. If you have a young dog, especially, we're probably talking about now, or possibly even rescues, if they've just come into the home. Let's not forget rescues in this as well. You have to really manage the situation. You know, you have to have management in place, and a lot of people are not frightened of management. They seem to think everything needs to be trained, but actually management's just as good. So when you've got family around and busy and you call cooking and the food's going and stuff like that, have the dog in another area until all the food stuff's out the way, all prepped or already cooked and stuff like that. Have it in a safe area. For me, especially with my younger puppy, he every time he's cued himself now. We have learned every time we go for dinner, he runs into his crate. Every time he sees the plate go out and food goes on, he goes bang into the crate, because I've done it from day one. Yeah. Now with my others, they're really good. They just lie under the table. But when they were younger, especially my other spaniel, he wouldn't have done that. He'd have been paws on the table. But because I taught him to settle around food, and this is the other thing, it's teaching them to manage themselves around food as well. That's a skill. If you've got, maybe could teach to go to bed, again, depending on the dog's emotions, that is. If you've got a dog that's anxious with the situation of, oh, the food's too overwhelming, then the bed settle might be just too much. But if you've got a fairly steady dog, teaching a settle on the bed as well in another area or in the place where you want them to be is another good shout.
And I think that's where you know when to do your training and when to do your management. So your training really should be happening when you're on your own with the dog. Yes. And when it comes to Christmas Day and people coming and going, that's not a time for training, not unless it's already really well instilled. That's a time for management. Because the other thing is, and we've all got them, you'll have someone round, hopefully if we're allowed, but you'll have someone round and you'll even have versed them and said, don't give dog this, don't do, you know, and before you know it, your back's turned and they're like that. sliding, God knows what, to your dog, because they think that's okay. And before you know it, just one single event learning, your dog has that, and then before you know it, they're all over you wanting food and stuff. So it'll undo all your training. So it not only is management a really good way for your dog to know what they're doing, your guests can't interfere with them.
No.
Everyone's a dog expert, aren't they? Let's face it.
Exactly. Yeah. You'll get one of them, you know, Uncle John, something, you know. Not saying all Uncle John, by the way.
He'll
Just
go,
saying
what?
that.
Like
Disclaimer.
that.
What I'm saying, and another thing is also people like to give them a little bit of Christmas dinner. Now that is fine, but make sure you study before what the dogs are allowed to eat and what they can't. If you have a dog with food intolerance, and stick to their diet. Obviously, I have just had a dog recently diagnosed with IBD. This is another thing people need to be aware of. You don't know that dog's condition if you're a guest. You don't know if they can take that food. You know, if it was my boy and you gave some food to it, it cause a flare up. But also at the same time, like I said, if you want your, you know, a lot of people do it. I do it with mine as well. I do give a bit of Christmas dinner so that certain ones who can tolerate it. But I know what to feed. I know what suits them dogs. So make sure you know what your dog can have. And also make sure you go through and check what dogs can eat and what is not good for dogs. Okay. Because I'm not going to say people don't do it, because we all give a little bit, but it's knowing what's right for that dog. Okay. And what I would do is when I ever give something like a bit of Christmas dinner, I put it in their food bowl.
I was going to say that it's the delivery as well.
It's where delivery.
Christmas, give them a bit of turkey and slide it off the table.
No.
They'll be cross all the time when the dogs come into the table. It's just add turkey off your plate, for goodness sake.
Absolutely.
Hot, isn't it? So
I mean, I'm a bit sad. I literally serve, I've got humans plates and then I have the dog's bowl on the side. So we all have pretty much, obviously theirs cools a bit, but by the time they've all gone out the humans food, I have the dogs in another area away, whatever's in food. They finish their dinner. By the time all the food's gone and they finish, because dogs are way quicker than us, they've ate their food, they have satisfied, then they usually have a snooze in that area that I put them, and then we can carry on with dinner.
Oh, you're so nice, you. It's lovely hearing how different households work as well, aren't they? I mean, mine don't get anything extra. They get their food and that's that. I have just this year I've got them Christmas presents, but to be fair, I don't buy the animals Christmas presents.
I just buy chews usually.
Yeah, I don't bother at all. And that's because the animals come first all year round. On Christmas Day, get up and I'll sort the animals out before we do anything. They'll get their walks, they'll get to play, they'll do a bit of training.
Absolutely.
And that's what they like doing, so that's what they'll get. But I guess one of the gifts you get at Christmas with your animals is time.
Yes.
More time. And that's really lovely, isn't it? To have a bit more. I think we've covered all the stuff regarding Christmas. What I will say is we and I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this. We had I'm not sure we can quite laugh about it yet, but we did have a situation with my eldest sister's dog whereby one of my relatives didn't realise they had a massive bar of Galaxy in their bag. And when we went for we call it the stoning because we're called Stones. That's our surname is Stone. When we went for the stoning,
people are probably thinking the stoning. What?
It's really funny. It's because it's like an absolute onslaught of crazy people like me all in one room. So it's the four sisters and the family and all their kids. And when we have the stoning, we go up to my big sisters in North Yorkshire, and the first thing she'll say is, "Has anyone got any food in their bag?" Because she's got a rescue called. I better not name him just for confidentiality.
No, don't name him.
He's got a little rescue, but he's an absolute gannet. So if there is any food, he's finding that food. And bless him, he found that food. Everyone said they had no food in the bag. He found the food, and he had to go and have like a charcoal infusion.
Oh, lovely. Poor thing.
So that was that put a bit of a dampener on things. The dog was fine, but you know, management again, that shouldn't have happened really. Yeah. So just be careful. It's not funny. It's quite dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you've got them dogs who really don't cope with visitors and you're really wanting to host, don't be worried about maybe sending them either to a good quality kennels or a good dog sitter who's working over Christmas period, where they will be quieter, they'll get the warts and they don't have to deal with, because some dogs can't even deal with visitors, and then if you give them something they can't even take the food or whatever. So it is worth considering, you know, if you have one of them dogs, either, you know, you make the choice of actually maybe this year we go somewhere else so the dog can then stay home and be settled, or you can say, okay, I want Christmas at home. And I know it's hard, we all want a dog chronic, but what we're saying is would you rather have your dog happy and content either at home or away, you know, and then you can go on Christmas, not worry about them stressing, especially the really fearful ones who are not used to it, you know. You have to take these in consideration.
And you've also got to think from the people side of it as well. I had I was really fortunate. One week no one else turned up to a group and there was just one woman there. If she's listening, I hope she is, bless her. I said to her, look, you're on your own, you choose the topics for today, I'm not going to do the plan, what's going on? And she wanted some plans for Christmas because she was really worried because she's going to her parents, and it might be, you know, when you've got elderly parents like I have and you want to go and spend time with them, oftentimes you travel a bit to get there. You've got to think about how you manage that. So her dog's a big dog and he's very bouncy at the moment. He's adolescent, but he's full grown. So he's a big dog. I'm not going to say what breed, but I ended up saying to her, you know, don't have the expectation that he needs to be around them. It's okay to have him in a crate, or even put him in the car here and there, bring him out when he's settled, put him in the car. You've got to remember, put your guilt to one side a little bit. Our dogs, certainly mine and yours, and a lot of our clients, have the best lives dogs can have. So on Christmas Day, if you need to prioritise your elderly relatives and yourself for a few hours, that's okay.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
It's less stressful for the dog, because if you're worried about them jumping on grandma or granddad, you're going, oi, no, and the dog's just having a horrible time anyway. That's not fun for anyone. You're not enjoying it, the dog's not enjoying it. So best to just make it easy for yourself, I think.
Absolutely. Because like you said, I mean, Christmas is one of the most stressful, one of the most joyous times, but also one of the most stressful for human and dogs. You know, you've got to think, however, there's always that one who's cooking, and there's one that's having it at the bar, and someone on the telly eating all the snacks, and then there's kids running around. It's just chaos. So take it all in consideration, even though it's a fabulous day, at the same time, everything is heightened a lot more because it's not your average day.
And you know what we should mention as well? We should mention the F word. Can you think
You're
of it?
asking me to mention an F word?
No, not the one we agreed we wouldn't say during the podcast. I'm talking about fireworks, Georgia.
Yes.
It's a pain in the backside, isn't it? But there will be fireworks going off. So be prepared for that. Have your house prepared for that. Have your radio on. Have a Pet Remedy or Adaptil sort of plug-in on. Play some classical music.
Get the curtain shut.
Yeah, curtain shut. Get yourself ready and don't.
I have the washing machine on, the telly on. I have the radio on. I have two tellies on, one up downstairs, one down. Washing machine's on. Things are down, because I do have one dog. The others not so much. They just join with anything. But I have one dog, surprisingly, one that shoots. Not scared of fire shot, but fireworks he's absolutely terrified of. So it has to be all noise on, drown out. And you have to take that into consideration, like Paula said. You know, it's another season. New Year's Eve as well. As New Year's Eve is absolutely chaos. You know, we're not saying don't enjoy the fireworks or anything like that, but just make sure if you do go out or you're at home and you know things are going to be off, make sure you set the dog up for success.
Absolutely. And this is management, isn't it? But there's some good training stuff you can do around fireworks. But really, you ought to be starting that when there's no fireworks going off. And if you need help with that, you can contact me or Georgia. We should say where we're from as well. Georgia's from Trails for Tails.
First Tails Dog Training, Cheshire.
There you go. And I'm from Bronte Canine Dog Training, which is in West Yorkshire. We're based at Denholm at the moment, near Bradford. So you can get help with that, and there are video resources and all sorts, but you need to start that process way before bonfire night. You know, I'm talking months, and it does take a bit of commitment, but it is trainable. The other thing I'll say, if something what should we say, surprising happens, and it makes you jump, don't turn around to your dog and go, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you go woo like that, you go, yeah, what was that? And then give them some fuss or throw food at them. You know, you can actually build resilience in your dog by.
But that's bloody neighbour again. Do that one. Is that bloody neighbour again?
Absolutely. I mean, for bonfire night, I was ready for. The night after bonfire night, I was ready for. The night after bonfire night,
yes.
I wasn't ready for that. So I didn't have all the music on all floors. And the neighbours had a party with fireworks. So we did get caught out that night. And Aria did jump because it's her first bonfire night. She did jump and look at me. And I just went, yeah, and threw treats at her. But that goes against all your instincts as a person. So you have to work at that, you know, and get used to doing that. But that's good practice for all sorts of things. You know, if another dog barks, yeah, throw treats at them. You know, that can help them to learn that these things aren't anything to worry about.
No.
So yeah, I mean, I'm done on Christmas. What do you think, Georgia? I mean, I'm not done on Christmas because it ain't happened, but
all right, screwed.
That's
done out of here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's what I can think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be aware. Usually at Christmas as well, it's busier out and about on walks. Might be busier on your walks. People are off. They're going to be not doing the usual times.
And you might people who don't often walk their dogs themselves these days because there's so many dogs that go into walking or daycare services, so you will get an influx of people, and some of the dogs might not have good recall.
Yes.
All we can do is do our best to prepare for our dogs, really, isn't it? Make sure yours has got a good recall. Make sure that if something does happen, you don't go like that, and you reward them. And then if something does happen, be mindful that your dog might be likely to be a little bit worried for a couple of weeks because
absolutely,
and cortisol are high.
And if in doubt, put the lead on.
Absolutely, yeah. And really, it's a new. I was just looking at the new the syllabus for. I don't know. Is it all right to name drop? I'm doing the Kennel Club Good Citizen Awards at the moment, and they've actually written into the syllabus now, which I'm quite pleased about. That one of the responsibilities of ownership is that you should, if you see another dog on lead, you should get your dog back and put it on lead.
Absolutely.
That didn't used to be in there, and I'm really pleased to see that in there. That's good.
Just manage your walks, be with your dog, be in the moment, read the room. Don't always, just because also another thing I always say is don't always trust the dog off lead either. Some people let the dogs off and they're not always the best dogs to be let off because some people don't care as much as others, you see. So be conscious of that. For me personally, when I'm on a walk, I move my guys way over. But unless I know that dog, I don't trust it. I don't trust the owner. And I love dogs, but when I'm with my dogs, my priority is to keep my dog safe at the end of the day.
And that's all right, isn't it? Because, you know,
right.
You'll have, like, really, in my world, Aria's got mates. She's got a good few mates that she plays with, and that's cool by me. But also, especially, which I'll talk about in a minute, because of some of the things we want to do in the future, and certainly because she sits in the front of classes, Aria also needs to know that not every dog is for going up to. And exactly. That is, I think people get so hung up on socialisation. I've got to let them bounce around with everything. Then when they want their dogs to come back to them in adolescence, they're like, oh my God, my dog won't come back. Yeah, no, I know. That's because you haven't trained them to ignore some dogs. And really, some dogs, I'll say to her, you go say hello. And other dogs, Aria here, she's back, she's on a lead, and we go play. And that's
in fact, it happened to me today.
Oh, yeah.
I was literally, I'd just done my training walk. Then I brought my Sid out, my little pup, to do some training. Lovely ground. We were coming off, me and my friend, and Terrier comes over. She could see me call Sid. He came over, he ignored, he was a bit frightened because the Terrier came in full force at him. So I called him in, he sat with me. Dog went to the other one, and then I thought, right, she's turning away, so I let him go again. She came again, but this time she ramped it up. I could hear the growling. The owners were walking along the side, not calling it once. Sid wasn't happy, tail was under, called him again. He'd come off her. He was like, fine. And then until I did it the third time, they went, oh, come on. I was like, you seen we moved over. You seen that I called my dog away, and so did my friend. And you continually allowed your dog to do that. What that dog was learning in that process was, one, self-rewarding itself for that behaviour. Two, it obviously didn't have the best recall. And three, the owners weren't learning that. They didn't read the room. If somebody's moving over, you have no idea what about our dogs. You've seen us move. You have to watch what people are doing on the thing. Not everybody wants to play. For me, I can't let I do like Paula, I have certain dogs that they can play with, but not unfortunately, the thing is with my world is, because I have to work my dogs, they cannot be obsessed with other dogs. It's a be all and end all for me, because they've got to work alongside other dogs and do the job with me. So for me, as long as my dog's okay with dogs, and as a puppy, they have the odd social play, but to be honest, if they're out walking, it's just move on. Yeah, you know, for me, I'm not. So many people get, like Paula said, they get obsessed with it. You don't need to. You really don't. Okay, you just don't need to be obsessed, and just be consideration of each other. I mean, there'll be people out there listening who don't have dogs that are come to other dogs, and that's okay as well. You know, they want to move on. They want that space. And like I said, that incident today really annoyed me, because the owner seen that thing, but at the same time, what the owner wasn't realizing, and I knew by the way the dog behaved, that was a learned behavior, because it'd be allowed to do it. And if you allow, especially puppies, to run and run and run and run and run, by adolescence, you're going to have a major problem, because they're going to find that dog way more rewarding.
There's a couple of really important words you used there that I'm going to pick up on. So when you say about owners seeing this, and their eyes will have seen it, but they haven't processed it. And I guess we're all, just like dogs, we're all able to pick up on different social cues. Some dogs are more bolshy than others. Other dogs will give calming signals, and that dog won't hear them. So then the volume has to go up. So if something I do, and although everybody who's been to my classes knows that I'm dead friendly me, but if I've shown those social cues of my dog's been put on lead and I've taken space, and that dog is still coming, I will very politely, and it is very politely, say, can you get your dog back, please? Because they need a different social cue, because they're not reading the other ones. No. So all we can do is make sure our recalls are good with our dogs, but that if there is an issue, that we feel okay to say in a polite manner, can you just do that? They don't need an explanation why. They often do feel a little bit affronted, but at least you've done something, and you've not walked away feeling really cross. So
be your dog's advocate.
Yeah, I think so. And without going
in that situation, because another thing is, in that situation, I think Rhea had said something anyway, that was quite amusing. But in that situation, you also have to, especially with pups, how you react when another dog comes over is important as well, because I'm friendly and I love a laugh, but when it comes to my dogs, and if somebody, I can be quite touchy, so I have to sort of move my body language very obvious, because I know if I probably will not, because I think literally how I speak at times, I'd probably be like, get your dog, mate.
Yeah, and if I did that with Aria, she'd freak out.
Exactly. And exactly. So I'd rather just practice, like, go on, Sid, come to me. He was good boy, teaching him to come away from that dog. So I used it as that. So I thought, let's turn this into training. Bang, bang, bang. Reward. Okay, back out. Okay, the dog's come again to you. Come to me, Sid. Bang, bang, bang. Not worrying about it. And they kept seeing me call. That's when I could feel and go, okay. And I think they also thought, oh, she's escalating, this dog, because she started to heavily growl towards him. She was about to, but because I was quick on him, and I thought, so you've obviously got a cue for when you think it's a time for her to call, but
well, it's all about when you hear me, and it's all different for people and dogs.
Exactly.
I think so. What we'll do now is we're going to move on to future plans.
Absolutely.
It's important, because we've got a new year dawning. I can't believe it's going to be 2022.
I know.
I feel like I'm living the future, man. Can't believe it already.
My birthday, 22nd of the 11th, 22.
Oh, wow.
How weird's that?
It's weird, yeah. And we're not even going to talk about the age gap between me and you because that's not cool. But future plans. So I know I've got a few future plans in the bag. But Georgia, would you like to talk to us about a couple of your future plans? But also, before you do that, will you give us a little biography about your new pup? Because
Oh, yeah.
and I'm conscious we're sort
Hang
of
on.
running into nearly an hour, so we ought to talk about pups.
Yeah, we had. That's me going on my tangent. I do apologise, everybody. Okay, so I'll try and get a quick photo so you can see. I think.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. So that's Sid.
He's
AKA,
so grown up now.
I know, look at him, he's going.
Warlord.
That's Warlord. That's genuinely
Wow.
part of his kennel name. Just bought a lead with his name on, Warlord. So Sid is my new puppy that I got in July. Unfortunately, the other bitch that I wanted a puppy off just wasn't ready to be mated yet. So that will be another future dog in a couple of years. Because at the end of the day, if your dog's not ready, don't do that. So I was really fortunate. I got in touch with another trainer. She knew what type of dogs, lines, and that what I mean by lines is the history of that dog and their breeding lines. So I specifically look for trialing lines because with my young puppy, aka Warlord, I want to trial him hopefully. So I picked him, going after a fabulous breeder called Steve. He was brought up fantastically. I couldn't have wished for a more confident, bold, and actually really quiet, playful little puppy. I don't think I've ever had a dog so quiet. I'm used to terriers. Obviously, I've got another spaniel, but he's really quiet. He's really biddable. He loves training. He loves life. He's like constantly smiling. Like he's just like, I'm not saying other dogs happy, but he's just got this bubbly nature. He's like Bonnie boy. And he's really fabulous. He's coming up to now, I think, around seven and a bit months, I think, roughly.
Yeah,
Pardon?
he must be because he's like 2 weeks younger than mine.
Yeah, I've lost count, to be honest. But yeah, I was out with him this morning. It was fantastic. Really enjoying him. I'm taking every day as it comes with him, enjoying this journey. But I do feel like there's something quite special about him. So yeah. Oh, hello. Well, actually, my other spaniel's just turned up. It's Barry. I think he's going to come up. You coming up? There we go. So this is my other boy, Barry. This is his older brother. Oh, hello. He's like, I've got to be on this. You're talking about Sid, and what about me? Yeah. So that's my new pup. Really, Paula's met him when I came up to see Paula, and when she's come down to mine. We actually worked a little bit of them working on the other dogs, and they did really well, didn't they? So yeah, that's my city.
Yeah. Oh, shall we talk about my puppy then now?
Absolutely.
And then we'll talk about what we're doing. So I'll see if I can hold this one up for you.
Oh, look at her.
That is, we call her Nipna Aria of Maxstone. So her name is Aria, but we were very lucky. Everything aligned at the right time, and a lovely lass called Anna Pennell bred her to her lovely working collie who's called Spot. A big shout out to Spot at the moment, who's recovering from injury. So yeah, she's quite a slight collie. She's got crackerjack ears, which we really love. They stick upright like that, and her I believe her drive to be quite high.
Yes. Same with
Sid. She will be 8 months old on December the 14th. So we've just noticed this last week. Lots of pennies have dropped for her. I train her every day. She's been coming to class since she was 8 weeks old. And she demos for people in class, which is just starting to go really, really well. But when it doesn't go well, you know, that's also really good information for the clients, because I can say I'm not immune to puppies.
Yeah.
Puppies throw challenging behaviour, but this is how I deal with it. So that's been it's been lovely for me, because it's my first puppy since 1995, because I've been rescuing the rest of the time. So I've lots of rescues. And this is my first puppy. I've never had a collie before. Although Miko dog, who we lost in January last year, she was we believe a collie husky or a collie Akita, we don't know, but she certainly had collie behaviour. Why did I choose a working collie? That's a good question. I wasn't going to get a working collie. I've often said I don't want a collie. Collies need a job to do.
You really suit a collie though.
Yeah, I know. Turns out it's all right. So life just changed quite a bit over the last few years, and because we've now got sheep and a bit of land, and because of the work that I do, she's with me working all the time. So yeah, that's my pup Aria. There we go. So future plans, Georgia, what have you got on the boil?
Future plans. So currently just started up training walks. Future plans. So a lot of people are starting to ask me to host workshops. I've got a lot of workshops coming up.
I do believe you're going to
Excuse you. Excuse you.
Yo, you are going to come to mine, aren't you?
Yes, I'm coming to yours. Don't worry. Yeah. So I've got a few different workshops coming up. Like I said, I've got training weekends coming up. I've got a hunting weekend and a retriever weekend. A lot coming up to one-to-ones. Like I said, more. Oh, we've got the 12-day Christmas challenge at North and South online community gun dogs, which will be on all the social medias. Please join in. It's totally free and it's for everyone to enjoy their time through the Christmas period with the dog. We are set challenges. We've done a special song for it. Poor Paula had to listen to me sing it.
I thought it was great. I've had it in my head ever since. And let's just say, Georgia, this is not a challenge that's just for gun dogs, is it? Other people can put. We're participating, aren't we? And a couple of my clients are going to participate as well. So the collie contingent's going to be in there.
The thing is, you can look at the exercises, and we will say in each of the videos, they are there to be adapted to what suits your dog at their age and their abilities and their time. So just adapt it, you know, it's there. You can be as creative as you want. We'll have a baseline. Don't have to copy what I'm doing with my dogs or what Sue's doing with her. So Sue is my business partner at North and South. Shout out to Sue Watkins, legend. Awesome trainer, by the way, if you want a gun dog trainer down south near Glastonbury, she is your woman. She's my business partner, and so we are really excited to do that. So yeah, and then also next year my other big thing is Sid. I've got a lot of training to do. I've got to take him around the country to do this training for his trialing, so that's going to be a big journey in itself. But yeah, I'm just ticking on. I probably got a couple of more ideas probably rattling my head, but I haven't confirmed. So I'm really excited for next year. Bring on 2022. You know, and it's just like I said, business is going really well, and I'm just excited for next year. And my clients are fabulous, and all the new ones welcome when you come. But I've got a really good bunch of clients who are super regular, super thing, and I feel very lucky. So yeah, roll on 2022. Is there anything I missed? I don't even know.
I'll tell you what's lovely though, and has been a bit of a surprise, I think, for both of us, is that we've both ended up with puppies.
Yes.
Are only a little few weeks apart.
I know.
And the other thing that's nice about that is you've found your niche, haven't you? Because you're totally gun dog now, aren't you?
Totally gun dog. Yeah, because that shows how long we've been then, doesn't it? Yeah. I'm only gun dog now.
So you've got a new puppy and it's a working line gun dog, and you're training using methods that we love.
Yes.
And you're working it, which is amazing. So that's really good. And then lo and behold, a little black and whites fell into my lap. So I've now got a working line collie. And so one of my future plans is I'm going to do my very best to try and get her to work the sheep. And training for that has started. I've got, should we say, I'm not going to say I've got no expectations, because I think we're both really good at what we do. But I think that we're very much experimenting with a new way. So I'm hoping that I can train her to work sheep using methods that are seen as kind of crazy in the traditional world, but they sit all right with me, so I'm gonna have a go. But that said, I've met since I've got her, I've met some amazing people in the traditional sheepdog training world, and I must give a massive shout out to Vicky if she's listening to this.
Yes, and my boys, because I train with a lot of the boys from the shoots and that.
Absolutely, and this isn't about this is better than that's better, or it's not even about that. It's just
sharing
about
ideas.
you and your dog, and for me and my dog, this isn't a standard situation. This dog's got so many jobs. She comes in the house, for starters. She comes to class and demos in class.
Yeah,
I also wanted to have a go with a sheep, and that's quite different. So therefore, I need a different approach. So kind of my future plans are so heavily based around Aria. It's a bit scary to say that, because that almost says I don't want to do any work. Obviously I'm going to be working. I'm going to be doing my classes, but I've learned more in this last 6 months with her than I've learned in several years with my other dogs. So I'm hoping that whatever we journey together is going to help influence all my training. So future plans, really, last 2 modules of that degree, smash them off, get rid of it, done it. I like learning, but I've had enough sitting in front of the computer. I want to go out and work my dog now. The other thing is I'll start my horse next year. So yeah, she's going to be my beautiful Torvi. She'll be 3 next year, so I'll lightly back her. She's already been doing groundwork training for the last year and a half.
Fabulous.
Hopefully end of the year, lightly back her, and then ridden out the following year, hopefully. But also we're looking at doing some more specialised short courses. I'm really conscious of the fact that because of lockdown and not wanting to pay 2 rents, we've focused our energies on Denholm, and that's meant that I've moved away from Oakworth a bit. And when we work in the summer and spring, we can work outdoors in Cullingworth Pooches, fantastic Nikki, in their secure field. But in winter, who wants to bring their tiny puppy to a freezing cold field in the middle of Oakworth? It's not really right for the puppy or the people. So we're going to do some specialist short courses and make sure we re-engage Oakworth. We're going to get some more short courses going on at Denholm. The Kennel Club stuff's back up and running, so we'll be doing our Good Citizen Awards. And we do happen to know this rather cheeky gun dog trainer who's going to come and do some workshops, hopefully. I'm just going to put that in a few more times. We just need to set the dates because I've got clients doing that. Yeah,
absolutely.
So yeah, there's loads of stuff. We had an amazing workshop just before lockdown with Craig Ogilvie doing a play workshop, and it was so good and everyone loved it. So we need to get more workshop. We got a good venue, we got good parking. We need to use more, really. So I think that's all we're gonna do next year. Just a little bit there, but having time for my pup, that's important. Oh, I've got to renovate the house as well. There's that.
Oh, don't worry,
it'll be fine.
You'll enjoy it.
It'll be fine.
I always just go around going, I found another job, great.
Oh, video as well, because I've got a new laptop. Turns out I've learned how to use a certain movie
century, this girl.
Exactly. Well, I'm getting there very slowly. It'll be 2030 by the time.
Tell us to get a new phone.
I've got them. I've got new phones now.
Bloody hell. I was wondering when the day would be.
I've got new phones. Even WhatsApp works now. Oh, should I have said that? So future plans, really. I'm going to do more video as well. So if things do go pear-shaped, should we say, I've got stuff for you. Don't wait. Don't wait.
Me too. Me too. I'll be at the end of the phone. I've got the Zoom. I've got loads of content to help people if we do. Paws crossed we don't. But like I said, maybe if it does, I'll just get Gambling Gun Dogs out again and do round 3.
If you haven't played Gambling Gun Dogs, guys, you need to check it out. It's hilarious. I ended up having to have a lie down after watching Georgia for 40 minutes. I was like, where's this energy coming from? And then I remembered what I felt like 10 years ago. That was like, that's where it's going.
And then no skulls on the doors.
Okay, so that's pretty much me, Georgia. Is there anything else you want to add before?
No, I just want to wish everybody a fabulous Christmas. Enjoy your dogs. Enjoy Christmas. Have a happy new year. I hope you're excited. We're excited to be back, guys. We wanted to give you another Christmas present that we're back. I hope you have a lovely time, and I hope you enjoyed our lovely podcast, our YouTube podcast as well. So lovely to meet you on, everybody. And I hope you like my Christmas hat. I made an effort, like Paul.
It's a halo. Believe me, she doesn't really deserve it. But
I am an angel.
Before we sign out, Georgia, can I give a shout out to Lady Chris Mancini, our mentor?
Yes,
also,
absolutely.
The Association of Pet Dog Trainers, APDT UK, and all its members. So happy Christmas to all our viewers and to the APDT. Oh,
that's for Christmas to you all. Love you all.
Ciao.
Bye.